Welcome to Gemara for Children. I would like to begin by learning today's 5 new words. Word number 1, mishum, because. Word number 2, chashuv, significant. Word number 3, kevan, since. Word number 4, dilma, maybe. Final word number 5 is a rashi tevos with the letters chaf and shin, spelling the word kol shekain, which means how much more so. We left off discussing that whenever a person is given a task to do, they always need to measure the effort that they put in for the reward that they're going to receive. Today we're going to learn the final 2 questions of Rabbi Yirmiyah. In order to understand his questions, I would like to give the following example. Imagine you're in camp and the activity of the day is to play a game of scavenger hunt. Every single camper, everyone participating in the game receives a shissel, a bucket. All of them are exactly the same size. And the goal of the game is to fill up the entire bucket with golf balls. Whoever fills up the entire bucket with golf balls will receive as a reward 1 piece of chocolate. Now, many campers are going to say, it's very hard to fill up an entire bucket, and if all we're going to get is 1 piece of chocolate, then it's not worth the efforts for the reward. And once again, let's compare this scenario to that which Rav Ukva taught us, that if an owner leaves 1 kav of grain in an area of 4 by 4 amos, it's too much effort and it's not worth it for the reward that you're going to receive. So asks Rabbi Yirmiyah, let's give 2 more examples. What were to happen if the head counselors were to say that, we're going to give people a different option. Whoever takes their bucket and is able to fill it up, not just with golf balls, but we're going to put tiny little beans and we're going to put it everywhere throughout the campus, and whoever fills up the same size bucket with beans is going to receive an entire bar of chocolate. So how do you think the campers are going to react? Are they going to say, well, wow, I'm not just getting now 1 piece of chocolate, I'm getting an entire bar, it's totally worth it for me to try to fill up my bucket with beans? Or do you think the campers are going to say that, look, even though the bucket is exactly the same size, it's easy for me to fill it up with golf balls, because golf balls are, let's say, this big. But for me to go around to get these tiny little beans and to fill up the entire bucket, it's going to take way more work and it's not worth it for me. How do you think they're going to react? Or let's give this scenario in the reverse. Let's say the head counselor would say that we are going to continue the scavenger hunt, but you don't have to only find golf balls. Rather, if you want, you can fill up your bucket with baseballs. But whoever fills up their bucket with baseballs, they're going to receive as a reward 1 chocolate chip. So how do you think the campers are going to react? Are they going to say, well, if for filling it up with golf balls, I was going to get only 1 piece of chocolate and that wasn't worth it, then for sure, just to get 1 chocolate chip, that's the reward, it's for sure not worth it? Or do you think they're going to say, well, the effort that it takes for me to fill it up with golf balls is hard because golf balls are pretty small, but baseballs, which is at least double the size of a golf ball, much easier for me to fill it up. It takes much less effort. Now I'm able to do it. How do you think people are going to react? In the words of Rabbi Yirmiyah asked the following question. Let's say an owner left behind 1 kav, but instead of it being a kav of grain, he left behind 1 kav of sesame seeds. In the times of the Gemara, sesame seeds were a lot more expensive than grain, but it's a lot smaller. So do you think that the owner is going to say that being that it's a lot more expensive, the reward is much greater, I'm for sure going to go back and collect my 1 kav? Or do you think the owner is going to say that being that it's going to take a lot more effort for me to take 1 kav of sesame seeds because it's so much smaller that the effort is not worth it for me to put in all this effort? That's scenario number 3. Or in the reverse, let's say the owner left 1 kav, but instead of leaving grain, he left behind dates or pomegranates. In the times of the Gemara, dates and pomegranates were worth less than grain, but dates and pomegranates are much bigger than grain. So what do you think the owner is going to say? Is he going to say that, for 1 kav of grain, it's not worth for me to put in the effort? But for dates and pomegranates, which is much bigger, doesn't require so much effort, I'm going to go back. Or is the owner going to say, well, the reward for dates and pomegranates is less than grain, so the reward is not worth it for me to put in this effort? And this is questions 3 and 4 of Rabbi Yirmiyah. All of these are different variations of the same nekuda, the same point. How do we determine in all of these cases when comparing effort versus reward?